Alright, we're going to do the clutch installation, kicker gear, idler gear, and all that good stuff. Here we go. First thing we need to do at this point is install our kicker idler gear. There's a few parts to that. First is going to be a small washer. It's going to go on first, just like that. Put just a little bit of oil on it to lubricate the bushing. Then you can put your kicker gear on, just like so. Then you have a washer with a flat edge on one side, and that's just going to line up with the flat side on the shaft, like so. And the last is your snap ring, and it goes on. Just like so. Then first part of your clutch assembly is going to be a large washer here, a thrust washer. You're going to have two identical. One goes on against the bearing. And then put a little bit of oil on the shaft. Install your inner hub bushing. A little bit of oil over the bushing. And you can smear it around if you like. Put a little bit of oil on the inside bushing of the basket. Smear it around. I've already done that. And you can slide it right into place. You'll have to turn it a little bit to get it to line up with all the gears. Like so. Then your other thrust washer, like the first, it goes on next, just like so. And then on top of that is going to go your hub, just like that. And then you're going to have a lock washer that goes on. It looks like this. And it goes on with the tang that's got a 90-degree bend on it. It lines up in this slot here, just like so. Then you want to install your nut, and you want to use Loctite on it, blue Loctite. Just put a small line, like so. And then you can install your nut, which is a 32 millimeter. And the torque on this nut is 65 foot-pounds. There's a couple of different ways you can hold the engine from turning to torque it. You can either get the basket holder tool, which I don't have. You can wedge a penny in the primary gear and the basket gear, or you can just stuff a rag in there and use a torque wrench. I don't do any of the above. I just bump it tight with an impact and then lock it with the lock washer. You just don't want to over tighten it. So it turns freely, and then you're going to want to fold this tang over against the nut here, and that's what keeps it from backing off. And I just usually use a pair of vice grips to get in there and fold it down. You want to try to fold it down good and tight against it. Like so. Just like that. Alright. The torque on this one over here, I believe it's 47 foot-pounds, and I do the same thing with that one. I just use a little bit of Loctite and give it a little bump with the impact. The Loctite does its job. Be sure your washer's on there. This should have been done when you did the crank installation, if you've seen the other videos. Alright, good enough. Next we'll install our clutch rod, clutch ball. Just use a little bit of oil on the rod before you put it in. Use whatever oil you plan to run in the transmission. Don't use grease or anything like that. So just a little bit. Push it on in. And do the same for the ball. There you go, and we'll see that that's working like it should as you pull the clutch arm. Alright, next is our clutch plate installation. For a basic setup, you're going to have 7 fibers and 6 steels. You're going to start with a fiber and end with a fiber. Steels, if you have steels like this, they have a hump on the outside of them. The way that I've always installed them, there's tons of different ways that people install them. Some people line them all up, some don't. But the way that I've always installed them was, I start with my fiber, and then I start with 1 notch straight up, and I just space them out evenly. So I'm going to do 1 here, and then I'm going to put in another fiber. I'm going to skip 2 notches and put 1 here. Just like so. And then I'm going to skip 2 more and put another. You want to be sure that you soak your plates for, if they're brand new, soak them for 10 to 15 minutes in whatever oil you're going to run in your transmission, so that they'll be properly lubed whenever you get ready to take it for a spin. So you just count 2 notches over and line up your notch and keep going until you're out of steels and fibers. So see, I got 1 here, so I'm going to skip 1, 2, and I'm going to place another 1 here, which will be my last one. They'll be evenly spaced all the way around the basket. And you gotta finish up with your last fiber. Then you can install your pressure plate. Okay, then you can install your pancake bearing. Be sure your clutch rod and ball is in there. You know if it is, if you can pull out on your arm and move your pancake bearing like so. Install your pancake bearing. Install your pressure plate. Be sure it does seat all the way against the clutches. Right there. If it doesn't, there's a lot of room back there. Just take and turn it 1 time, and it'll go on nice and tight. And your clutch, your pressure plate bolts, torque spec is 7.2 pounds on those, the same as the top bolts on the case. I don't torque those either. Yeah, no, I don't torque anything, right? I just tighten them up with a ratchet, use a little bit of blue Loctite, call it good. I'll show y'all how I do that. And bolts with Loctite, run them in. I'm just using this to run them in, save a little time. I'll tighten them with the ratchet. Alright. I'm going to tighten them up. This is what I do. Doesn't take much at all on these bad boys. You just want to be sure they're snug. When they stop, don't force them. Just give them a little snug. They're not going anywhere. With the Loctite and the springs, they're not going anywhere. Alright, that's that. And the last thing, but not least, is the kicker gear. Alright, on the kicker gear installation, see this flat spot right here and this U-shaped notch here? This U-shaped notch is where this spring rides from the kicker. Goes right inside there. Then this flat spot here is going to rest against this flat spot on the case. So you're going to line this up with this, and then you're going to be sure that this here, this arm, is going to rest on this flat spot and it'll go right into place. You may just have to wiggle your gear a little bit. That's it, she's already in place. And you just take this spring here. Sometimes you can do it with your fingers. Just take your pair of needle nose, wrap it around clockwise, and hook it up here. Hook it right up here. Let's see if I can do this camera here. Just like so. That's it. Now that you've got that on there, don't put the kicker on there and try it, because what's going to happen is you're going to force it back out of the case. It's going to jump out on you. Whenever what holds this gear and everything into place is this nylon bushing. It rides against the clutch cover. Clutch cover rides right here. So if you were to try it there, it's going to jump out on you. As long as you've got it in place, this the spring in the right notch, and you've got it looking like it should down here, and your spring on here the way I just showed you, then you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be good to go. So I guess that's it. 65 pounds on your clutch hub nut. Loctite it. Be sure you fold your lock washer over, and then on your primary drive gear nut, 47 pounds. Loctite that as well. 7.2 pounds on all 6 bolts. I don't choose to do that because I'm always scared I'm going to bust them off or strip them. Just use Loctite on everything inside here, because if anything backs out and it gets up in these gears, it's not going to be a pretty show. Other than that, I think I've covered everything. I did the shifter adjustment in a different video, so I'm going to wait for the top end to show up, and then I'll do the top end, the leak down, stator installation, and all that good stuff. Y'all have a good one.